11 years. 11 years have passed since Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 vanished from the skies. An event that continues to haunt the world's collective consciousness. For over a decade, the Indian Ocean has guarded its secrets. A vast and unforgiving expanse swallowing the truth of what happened to the 239 souls on board that fateful flight. But now, a flicker of hope emerges from the depths. A whisper of a potential breakthrough that could finally shed light on this enduring mystery. Reports are surfacing about a significant sonar anomaly detected in a remote area of the southern Indian Ocean. This isn't just another sonar blip or geological quirk. Preliminary analysis suggests it could be the wreckage of MH370, a fragmented scar on the seabed telling a story of unimaginable tragedy. But what makes this signal so promising? Why is it resonating with investigators and reigniting the hopes of grieving families after so many years of disappointment? At the heart of this potential discovery is Dr. Vincent Lyne, a name synonymous with relentless dedication to unraveling the MH370 enigma. 4 years, Dr. Lyne, a former researcher from the University of Tasmania, has meticulously scrutinized every piece of available data, satellite information, drift patterns, and, crucially, detailed mapping of the ocean floor. He's been a lone wolf, charting a course through the storm of speculation, his compass set on empirical evidence. While many focused on theories and narratives, Dr. Lyne immersed himself in the cold, hard data. He pored over reams of sonar readings, meticulously comparing them with known geological formations and aircraft wreckage signatures. His persistence, bordering on obsession, has led him to this pivotal moment. It was during this painstaking analysis of terrain models that he pinpointed something remarkable. A distinct anomaly in the sonar data. A blip, a bright spot that didn't quite fit. To the untrained eye, it might appear insignificant. A minor fluctuation easily dismissed as background noise. But to Dr. Lyne, it screamed of something far more profound. He describes it as an unusual formation. Something distinctly unnatural. An impact zone. Perhaps a scattering of debris unlike anything he's ever encountered in his years of studying the ocean floor. He believes it could be the final resting place of MH370. The aircraft broken apart and scattered across the seabed after a violent impact. Of course, caution is paramount. We've been down this road before. False dawns and dashed hopes have become all too familiar in the MH370 saga. Numerous leads have emerged over the years, each promising a breakthrough, only to dissolve under scrutiny, leaving behind renewed heartache and frustration. Remember the debris field spotted via satellite imagery? The floating objects that turned out to be unrelated flotsam and jetsam. The various pings and underwater sounds that ultimately proved to be nothing more than echoes in the abyss. The families have endured enough emotional turmoil. What sets this sonar anomaly apart, however, is the way it harmonizes with other crucial pieces of the puzzle. It aligns remarkably well with the updated satellite tracking data. The refined analysis of the Inmarsat pings that provide the best estimate of MH370's final flight path. Moreover, it corresponds with drift analysis, the scientific study of how ocean currents and winds carried confirmed MH370 debris, pieces of the plane itself, to distant shores. Unlike previous false leads, this anomaly sits precisely where the convergence of evidence suggests the wreckage should *be. This is what makes it so compelling. This is what makes it different. Analysts are examining the signal's acoustic profile, the way sound waves bounce back during the sonar sweep, and early indications suggest it carries the signature of large metallic debris. The ocean floor is, naturally, littered with rocks, ridges, and countless geological formations. But this particular signal exhibits a sharp, reflective pattern, a kind of metallic echo that hints at something manufactured, something distinctly unnatural. Could this be the twisted, broken remains of MH370 itself? Could it be the key that unlocks the door to understanding what truly happened on that ill-fated flight? The possibility is electrifying. But we must proceed with tempered optimism. For the families of the 239 passengers and crew who vanished that night in March 2014, every potential breakthrough represents a delicate balance between hope and renewed anguish. Each lead is a tightrope walk, fraught with the risk of plummeting back into the depths of despair. Yet, there's a cautious optimism in the air this time. A sense that this anomaly could be the real deal. Investigators, aviation experts, and loved ones are all watching with bated breath, their hearts pounding with anticipation. Could this be the moment they've been waiting for? The discovery that finally transforms a decade of agonizing mystery into a semblance of closure? Adding further weight to this discovery is Dr. Lyne's long-standing, and sometimes controversial, theory about what truly transpired on MH370. He posits that the disappearance was not the result of a catastrophic accident, a sudden mechanical failure, or an unforeseen act of terrorism. Instead, he believes Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, the man at the controls that night, may have deliberately orchestrated one of the most horrifying acts in aviation history. This is a heavy accusation, one that has been met with skepticism and resistance. But Dr. Lyne remains steadfast in his conviction, building his case on meticulous analysis of flight data and simulations. According to his theory, MH370 was intentionally flown off course, deep into one of the most isolated and unforgiving corners of the Indian Ocean, an area so vast and remote that recovery efforts would be rendered virtually impossible. He argues that the sophisticated flight path, the calculated turns and maneuvers, point to a deliberate act, not a plane spiraling out of control. Now, with this new sonar anomaly detected, Dr. Lyne is suggesting that the shape and features of the potential crash site are unlike anything created by natural geological activity. He describes a crater-like depression, an impact zone bearing the scars of a massive object striking the seabed at tremendous speed. To him, this isn't a mere coincidence. It's compelling evidence supporting his theory. These implications are staggering. If this anomaly proves to be MH370, then after years of relentless searching, the truth may finally be within our grasp. But it also raises even more chilling questions. Questions that cut to the core of human motivations and the darkest recesses of the human psyche. If Dr. Lyne's suspicions are correct, if this wasn't an accident, but a deliberate act, then the tragedy deepens exponentially. It transforms the narrative from a tale of misfortune to one of betrayal, of calculated destruction carried out by the very person entrusted with the safety of those on board. It would rewrite the way the world remembers MH370, casting a long, dark shadow over the legacy of Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah. When we talk about searching for something at the bottom of the ocean, we're not just dealing with water. We're dealing with a crushing, lightless environment that pushes technology to its absolute limits. This is where the autonomous underwater vehicle, or a UV, comes in. Think of it as a highly specialized underwater drone, packed with advanced sensors and designed to operate independently for extended periods. These aren't your typical remotely operated vehicles tethered to a ship. AUVs are pre-programmed to follow complex search patterns, collect data, and navigate treacherous terrain without direct human control. At the heart of this new MH370 search is a specific AUV model renowned for its deep-sea capabilities and sophisticated sonar systems. These AUVs are absolute marvels of engineering, capable of diving to depths exceeding 6,000 meters. That's nearly 20,000 feet. Imagine the pressure at that depth. It's enough to crush a submarine. But these AUVs are built to withstand it, allowing them to explore areas previously inaccessible. But what really sets these AUVs apart is their sonar technology. Sonar, which stands for sound navigation and ranging, is essentially underwater radar. The AUV emits sound waves, and by analyzing the echoes that bounce back, it can create a detailed map of the surrounding environment. It's like giving the drone eyes in the dark. There are several different types of sonar employed, each with its own strengths. Let's break down the key types used in this search. First, there's side-scan sonar. This is the workhorse, used to create broad, detailed images of the seabed. It sends out sound waves to either side of the AUV, creating a wide swath of coverage. This is crucial for quickly surveying large areas and identifying potential anomalies, anything that stands out from the natural seafloor. Next, we have synthetic aperture sonar, or SAS. This is where things get really interesting. SAS is a more advanced form of sonar that creates incredibly high-resolution images. Think of it like taking a series of photos and then stitching them together to create a much sharper, more detailed picture. SAS allows us to see even small objects on the seabed with remarkable clarity. If we're talking about identifying potential aircraft debris, this level of detail is absolutely critical. And it doesn't stop there. The AUVs also utilize multi-beam sonar, which creates three-dimensional maps of the ocean floor. This is particularly useful for identifying subtle variations in the terrain, like craters or depressions, that could indicate the presence of wreckage. Multi-beam sonar allows for a much more complete understanding of the underwater landscape. Finally, there's the sub-bottom profiler. This is a specialized type of sonar that can penetrate beneath the surface of the seabed. It sends out low-frequency sound waves that can pass through layers of sediment and reveal objects buried underneath. This could be crucial if the MH370 wreckage is partially or fully buried after years on the ocean floor. Now, it's not just about having the right technology. It's about how you use it. The AUVs are programmed to follow precise search patterns, systematically scanning the seabed. They operate autonomously, constantly adjusting their course and depth to optimize data collection. It's a bit like having an underwater Roomba meticulously vacuuming the ocean floor. The data collected by the AUVs is then transmitted back to the surface, where it's processed by a team of experts. They analyze the sonar images, looking for anything that might resemble aircraft debris. It's a painstaking process that requires a keen eye and a deep understanding of underwater acoustics. It's important to remember that this isn't the first time this type of technology has been used in underwater search operations. In fact, AUVs have a proven track record of success. One notable example is the search for the Argentine submarine ARA San Juan, which disappeared in 2017. Using AUVs equipped with similar sonar systems, search teams were able to locate the submarine at a depth of over 900 meters, even in challenging underwater conditions. Another example is the discovery of a United States Navy vessel from World War II, again found using similar autonomous underwater technology. These successes demonstrate the power and potential of UVs for deep-sea search and recovery operations. They've proven they can reach areas that are inaccessible to human divers and conventional submarines. And they can collect high-quality data that can be used to identify and locate objects on the seabed. So, what makes this new search for MH370 different? It's not just about using UVs. It's about using the most advanced UVs, equipped with the most sophisticated sonar technology, and deploying them in a highly targeted search area. The combination of these factors gives this new search a significantly higher chance of success than previous efforts. It's also important to remember that past searches, while extensive, had limitations. They were often hampered by gaps in coverage, missed anomalies, and the sheer difficulty of operating in the deep ocean. However, the UVs being used in this new search are capable of sweeping wider areas, capturing sharper images, and revisiting anomalies with unmatched accuracy. This ensures that nothing escapes detection. But even the most advanced technology means little without the right team and the right strategy. The experts involved in this search have years of experience in underwater acoustics, data analysis, and search operations. They understand the challenges of working in the deep ocean, and they have developed a comprehensive search plan that takes into account all of the available data and evidence. Ultimately, the success of this search depends on a combination of factors: the capabilities of the UVs, the expertise of the search team, and, of course, a bit of luck. But with the advanced technology and the renewed determination, there's a real sense of hope that this time, the mystery of MH370 may finally be solved. Okay, let's dive into the heart of this mystery. The hopes pinned on this potential discovery, the haunting questions that still linger, and the world's anxious wait for verification. Because even if that sonar signal is MH370, it's not the end of the story. It's potentially the start of a whole new chapter. A chapter filled with both answers and even more unsettling questions. For the families of the 239 souls on board, this news is, understandably, a tidal wave of emotion. After over a decade of agonizing uncertainty, the possibility of finally knowing where their loved ones are buried is incredibly powerful. It's a chance to lay flowers, to say goodbye, to find some semblance of peace after years of living in limbo. It's a chance to find some sort of closure, a concept that's been cruelly withheld from them for far too long. But let's be realistic. Finding the wreckage, while monumental, doesn't magically erase the pain. It doesn't bring back lost lives. It might, however, bring a sense of completion to a deeply traumatic chapter. A chance to begin, or at least continue, the long process of grieving. A chance to find a place where they can finally direct their sorrow beyond the personal tragedy. The potential discovery of MH370 has massive implications for aviation safety. Remember, this wasn't just a small private plane. This was a modern Boeing 777, one of the safest and most reliable aircraft in the world, vanishing seemingly without a trace. If investigators can recover the flight data recorders and cockpit voice recorder, the so-called black boxes, they could unlock the secrets of those final hours. Was it a catastrophic mechanical failure? Was it a sudden, incapacitating event for the pilots? Was it, as some theories suggest, something far more sinister? The answers gleaned from those black boxes could lead to sweeping changes in aircraft design, pilot training, air traffic control procedures, and even security protocols. Imagine the potential for improved safety measures, ensuring that such a disappearance never happens again. But, of course, the recovery of the black boxes is far from a certainty. They could be severely damaged, corrupted, or simply unrecoverable after so long on the ocean floor. Even if they are found intact, the information they contain might be incomplete or ambiguous. The ocean can be a harsh mistress, and time takes its toll on everything. Then there's the matter of the debris field itself, the way the wreckage is scattered, the condition of the aircraft's components, could provide crucial clues about the final moments of the flight. Was there a controlled ditching, as some experts believe, or was it a high-speed impact, suggesting a loss of control? Examining the wreckage could help to support or refute the various theories that have been circulating for years. And speaking of theories, let's address the elephant in the room. The question of why. If the wreckage is confirmed to be MH370, the world will demand to know what led to its demise. Was it a tragic accident? A deliberate act? A confluence of unfortunate circumstances? The ghost flight theory, where the pilots and passengers were incapacitated due to hypoxia, is still a possibility. However, the evidence of deliberate course changes, including the turns and maneuvers, makes this scenario less likely. Then there's the controversial theory of pilot suicide. Could Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah have intentionally crashed the plane? The discovery of a similar flight path on his home simulator certainly raises questions, but definitive proof is still lacking. Establishing motive, proving intent, these are incredibly difficult tasks. Even with the black boxes, what about the possibility of a hijacking? While no group has ever claimed responsibility, the idea that someone other than the pilots was in control of the aircraft cannot be completely dismissed. Perhaps advanced cyber hijacking played a role. Regardless of the truth, the discovery of MH370 is likely to trigger a cascade of legal and ethical consequences. Lawsuits could be filed against the airline, the aircraft manufacturer, or even the governments involved in the search. Accountability will be demanded, and the blame game could become intense. Families could seek compensation for their losses, arguing that negligence or oversight contributed to the tragedy. The legal battles could drag on for years, potentially uncovering even more unsettling details about the circumstances surrounding the disappearance. Ethically, the discovery of MH370 forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths. Did the initial search efforts focus on the right areas? Was the information available at the time properly analyzed? Could more have been done to locate the aircraft sooner? These questions will need to be addressed, even if they lead to difficult answers. Finally, let's not forget the potential for conspiracy theories. Given the sheer mystery surrounding MH370, it's inevitable that some will question the official explanations, regardless of what the investigation ultimately reveals. Alternative theories, ranging from government cover-ups to extraterrestrial involvement, are likely to continue circulating online. So, as we await confirmation of this sonar anomaly, let's remember that finding MH370 is just the first step. The real challenge will be to piece together the truth, to understand what happened on that fateful night, and to learn from this tragedy so that we can prevent similar disappearances in the future. The world holds its breath, hoping that this time, the ocean will finally yield its secrets. But even then, the search for answers, for closure, may just be beginning.